begin. Just need to check something quickly. My mic is working. Perfect, it is working. Okay, so very welcome everyone. I'm Tash. We are going to do a 45-minute session for stress relief today. And we're going to start off with a bit more movement, very slow, gentle for the body, and then move into about half an hour of restorative yoga. So I've tried to minimize the amount of props that you need. Things that you might need are a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can always use like a couch cushion or a couple of blankets stacked one on top of the other, maybe even some pillows. I always like to have a cushion handy and then one or two bricks, which you may or may not need, depending whether you have a bolster. And then quite nice to have a blanket, even if it's quite warm, and something to cover the eyes. We're going to start in a supine position. So I know some of you like to come into a constructive rest position, so feel free to come to that pose with the legs bent, feet planted, knees pointing up. You might choose to have something soft underneath your head, or if you'd rather extend the legs forwards, then you can do so as well. And then just resting the hands wherever feels comforting for you. So for me, I quite like to place the hands on the abdomen. Or you might choose to slide the arms down either side of your body, palms facing up or facing down. So just sensing this moment as shifting gear. So I always like to imagine I'm shifting from everyday life into this moment that we call practice. Closing the eyes or perhaps just relaxing the gaze to one spot ahead of you. We'll begin by taking a few full breaths. Breathing in when you're ready. And breathing out maybe through the mouth. Allowing yourself about 2 more breaths like that, breathing in through the nose and out through your mouth. We'll take that once more. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And then letting the breath resume in and out through your nose. And I'm going to guide you through a soothing breath practice called 1 to 2 breathing, or the practice of elongating your exhale. So deep, controlled breathing is really helpful to elicit the relaxation response in your body. And we'll begin by making the inhale and the exhale about the same length. So you might be breathing in for, say, the count of 4, and then exhale for that same count of 4. So you're already beginning to smooth out your breathing. And then on your next exhale, see if you can start to make the breath out about twice as long as the breath in. So for instance, if you're breathing in for 4, you might think about exhaling for 8. If that feels too much for your breath capacity right now, then just think about moving towards that direction of 8. Gently extending your exhale, breathing. So we'll keep this breathing rhythm going for about a minute longer before we begin to invite some gentle movement to your body. But always a reminder to do as much or as little as your body wants to. So you're always practicing with kindness towards yourself. 2 more breaths in here. Beautiful. Then on your next exhale, if you feel ready to start to move the body and come back into the space, you might start by blinking the eyes open. Beautiful. And then if you've got the legs extended, just start to bend the legs to bring the soles of the feet on the mat. So keep the keep the knees pointing up towards the sky. And then just bring the arms down either side of your body, palms facing down. And we'll just start with some really simple arm movements. So as we inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. You might even start to reach the arms straight back behind you, if that feels okay for your shoulders. And exhaling, we're just going to reach the arms all the way back up and then return them down either side of your body. We'll just continue that with the breath. So inhale, the arms yawn open. They might even reach up and back. And then as we exhale, the arms float down either side of your torso. Just keep that going around 2 to 3 more times. Feeling your arms really gently move through space. And beginning to synchronize movement to breathing. Beautiful. Then next time the arms reach up and back, we're just going to let the arms rest above the body. So for instance, you might take a hold of the elbows above the head. If that doesn't feel okay for your shoulders, you can always come into a bit more of a cactus position. And then just start to walk the feet out so they're a little bit wider than hip width apart. Keep the toes pointing forwards and just start to windshield wiper the knees from side to side. So we'll draw the knees over towards one direction and then back through the middle and then over towards the other. Really simple movement to help to hydrate and lubricate the muscles around the bottom part of your spine, your lower back area. And then see if you can really allow both knees to dip low so that you start to feel a stretch through the front of the thighs and the front of your knees. Moving as fast or as slow as your breath and your body want to. Beautiful. And the next time the knees come back through the middle, we're just going to pause here for a moment and start to draw both knees in towards your chest. And then see if you can bring the arms to wrap around your shins or around your thighs if that feels a bit more comfortable for you. And then perhaps a gentle rock from side to side. And I always like to imagine this position when I'm rocking from side to side, that my head is part of my spine too. So let the head move left and right as you rock the body. I always like to visualize this picture of water kind of sloshing around a bowl. So let there be a kind of fluid, steady rhythm to your movement. It's like water, like lovely. And then slowly start to draw the knees towards the middle and then release a hold of the knees or the thighs. Let the feet come back down towards the earth and then let yourself roll towards one side as you carefully lift yourself up into a comfortable seated position. And then we're just going to move into a few movements in cat-cow and all fours before coming into our first position. So I quite like to have a bit more support underneath my knees. It's quite a hard floor, so just taking care of your joints as much as possible, leaning more towards comfort if you can. Then bringing the wrists roughly underneath the shoulders, knees beneath your hips. And then as we inhale, dipping the belly button low, as we stick the bum out and lift up through the chest. You might even lift the gaze slightly. And exhale, pushing the ground away really gently as we round through the middle back, upper back, and lower back, chin to chest. And keep that rhythm going. So soft elbows as you radiate the chest forwards on the breath in. And exhale to dome and round on the breath out, chin to chest. Just keep that going with your breath, and you might start to even close the eyes. Moving with your own breathing. So the spine is almost illustrating the full breath cycle. And just focus on complete exhalations if you can. Last breath in here. And this time as we exhale, start to draw the hips back towards your heels. You might sit the hips back towards your heels, maybe have a cushion in between your bum and your heels, a little bit more padding. And then coming into Balasana Child's Pose, we'll slide the palms forwards and just drop the forehead low. Maybe even resting the forehead on a brick if that feels a little bit more comfortable for you. And the posture of the child, safe, supported, and held. Welcoming the earth props underneath your body. And just have a sense of pushing into the palms slightly to draw the tailbone back towards your heels. So becoming aware of that length in the spine. Take an inhale. And an exhale. Beautiful. And then lifting the head, lifting the chest. We're going to come back into all fours for a moment. If you've got a cushion underneath your bum, just place that to one side. And then coming into puppy pose, we're going to pad or walk the hands forwards towards the top of your mat. And then gently start to drop the head and the chest down towards the earth. I know some of you like to lift the chin and bring the chin down. You can do so if you want to. And then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, have a sense of the tailbone lengthening backwards as the head lengthens forwards. And recently I've been exploring a little bit of a kind of puppy tail movement here in puppy pose. So you might even sway the hips really gently over towards the left and the right. Might help to just bring a little bit more movement into the lower part of your spine. Last breath in here. Beautiful. Then drawing the spine, the tailbone back through middle. We're going to lift the head, lift the chest on the breath in. And exhale, we're going to bring the elbows down towards your ground, to the ground. So coming into forearms, and then bring the front body all the way down as we lift up into Sphinx position. So feet can be as wide or as close together, pointing the toes back. You can always bring the elbows a little bit further forward if that feels a bit more comfortable for your body. And then pushing into the forearms really gently to lift the head and the chest. Make some space between the ears and the shoulders if you can. And then let's just move through the head a little bit in this position. So as we inhale, we're going to look over your left shoulder and see if you can look all the way back towards your left foot. So a sense of lengthening out through the right side body. And then drawing the head back through middle. And we're just going to go the other side. So looking over your right shoulder. You might even look towards all the way back towards your right foot. And then exhale back through middle. Say that once more on each side. Breathing in. Exhale back through symmetry. Last one here. And then exhale, beautiful, back through middle. And then just scoot your elbows out towards the side as you bring front body all the way down. And you've got two options from here. You can come into face down relaxation if you're like, Tash, please, I just kind of want to chill. Just chill here with your head resting on your forearms. Or the last bit of movement before coming into our restorative, we might bring the palms down either side of you, underneath your shoulders, pardon me. And then hug the elbows in towards your body. Point the toes back. As we inhale, you might press the pubic bone down towards the earth as we peel the front body off the mat. Look forwards, lifting up into a baby cobra, and then exhale to lengthen the front body all the way back down. Let's just take that a couple more times with your breath. So inhale to lift and lengthen. radiating the chest forwards. Exhales using the muscles in the back body to get that nice smooth transition down towards the earth. Take that twice more with your breath. Inhale. And exhale to lower. Last breath in. Exhale it. Beautiful. Let that front body come all the way down. And then we're going to push back through hands and knees. And we'll come into our first restorative from here. So we're only going to need one bolster or two pillows for this. And just bring your bolster in between your legs. So coming into supported child's pose. If you have a cushion or a rolled up blanket handy, it's always nice to have a bit more support underneath your bum. So I always like to use either a cushion or a rolled up blanket. If you feel like your knees need more support, maybe have a blanket underneath them like me. And then once you've set up your construction, we're going to just bring the body a little bit closer towards your prop so that your bolster or your pillow is just in between your legs. And then lying the front body all the way down. You can turn one cheek down towards your props. Maybe the arms and the elbows might form a little cactus shape either side, or you might flip the palms to face up. Another option is to hug the top of your bolster if that feels like a little bit more comforting. So eyes open or eyes closed. If you'd rather keep the eyes open, then see if you can relax the gaze to one spot ahead of you. So whether the eyes are open or closed, there's a sense of the muscles around the eyes beginning to soften. So restorative yoga is wonderful for stress relief because we're not asking the body to do more. We're not adding additional stress. We're just inviting our muscles, our mind to completely relax. So as you enter this practice, I'd like you to remember that. Keep that in mind. To support yourself so that there is no struggle or strain in your mind or your body. Now that we've started to settle in, allow there to be a deepness to the breath that wasn't there before. Feel it filling up into your back as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, a sense of letting go, a softening into the support. It might be helpful to slow down your breathing. And throughout this practice, we will have moments of silence. As I'm silent, just please know that I'm right here with you. And you'll hear my voice when we're ready to transition out. If you've got your head facing one direction, you might turn the head so that the opposite cheek comes down. This is optional. And just let the journey back into stillness be really simple. So just simply using the breath and the body to be here. Three more breaths here. Taking a breath in through the nose and out fully. Feeling free to stay as you are. If you'd like to come out of supported child's pose, we can start by sliding the palms down either side of your bolster or your props. Might lift the head and bring it back through symmetry first. And then push into the palms to carefully peel the front body off your props. And then just scoot your bum off whatever you're sat on, cushion or blankets. And we'll just lengthen both legs forwards for a moment, just to stretch out through the legs. And bring the hands back behind you for a moment. Lean back into the hands and just flex and point the feet. So you're stretching out through the backs of the legs and the fronts. Lovely. So we're going to go straight into our second restorative posture, which is going to be supported back bend. I'd like you to see if you can bring your bolster or your pillows behind you. And for me, if I've got access to a cushion, it's quite nice to have a cushion either underneath your props, like so, or you can have it on top of your pillows or your bolster towards where your head is going to rest. And then I quite like to add a bit more warmth on top of my body, especially because we're quite deep in our restorative practice now. So you might want to have a bit more warmth, so like a blanket on top of you, or maybe just kind of tucking the whole body into a blanket if you want to. And then to scoot yourself a little bit closer towards your props. And this is where an eye pillow or something to cover the eyes might come in quite handy. So just have that reaching distance. Personal preference, take off any buns or ponytails or anything that kind of would res- um, anything that might not help relax your scalp. And then arms come down either side as we guide ourselves all the way back. So if you've got anything underneath your head, adjust it here so that your chin is not jutting out. So if your chin is higher than your forehead, you might want to have something underneath your head just to lift your head slightly. And then just let the arms and the elbows relax down either side, palms facing up ideally. And then something to cover the eyes now might be a good time just to pop that on top. Palms up for receiving all the good things that are coming your way this week. Just take a swallow of the mouth just so you can relax through to the root of the tongue. Let the muscles around the cheekbones and your eyelids soften. And have a sense of the muscles around your eyes beginning to relax. A sense of the eyeballs falling back and down into the skull. Let's take a few rounds of counted breaths together before I leave you back in stillness. So see if you can empty out all of the air out of your body. Then take a fresh breath in through the nose. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and pause. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Float. Breathing in. Breathing out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pause. Inhale. And exhale, letting that breath go. Allowing the breath to resume back to its natural rhythm. Your natural breath is enough for now. Letting yourself rest back into that same silence and stillness. It's fine to let the mind wander, but if you want to have that place of return, you can gently guide your awareness back to the rise and fall of your breathing. 3 more breaths here. Taking a breath in through the nose and out through your mouth. When you feel ready to move, might start by perhaps rubbing the thumb on each fingertip just to bring back that sensation of touch. Maybe moving the toes as well. You might take a full body stretch, maybe a yawn. We like yawns in restorative yoga, so yawn if you want to. The body's natural way of eliciting that relaxation. And then bringing the arms down either side of your body. It's fine if you want to stay here, by the way. And just start to bend your legs and bring the soles of the feet on the mat. So knees pointing up towards the sky. Then start to roll the knees. So tip the knees up and over towards your left as you start to roll yourself off your props over towards your left. And then carefully using your right palm followed by the left, lift yourself back up into any comfortable seated position. And then we'll move into our last restorative posture from here. So yeah, have a sip of tea or water, keep yourself hydrated, especially during the summer months if you want to. And we're going to come into a supported bridge or inversion to end. So I know some of you are working with a bolster. So if you've got a bolster, you just need to turn your bolster widthways. If you haven't got a bolster, instead of using the pillows, I would recommend using one of these bricks, or if you've got the slightly flatter ones, you might use 2 stacked one on top of the other. So just imagine I've got either my brick behind me, or you might have your bolster. I'm just going to demonstrate with my bolster. Have your blanket handy and your eye pillow handy, just of easy reach. Then let's just come to sit on our props. So either you're sitting on your bricks or your bolster. Have your blanket on top of your knees or on top of your body, and the arms come down behind your props. And we'll push into the feet and the hands just to carefully lift your hips and slide your hips forward so that when you settle down onto bolster, the lower back, the sacrum, the kind of bony part just above your bum is resting on your prop. And then carefully shimmy the elbows and the head all the way down. Nice. And then adjust your blanket so that you feel snuggly and comfy. Some people like to have the prop a little bit further up the back. Some people like it a bit further down. So just see what feels best for you. And then bringing the arms down into a V shape either side of your body, or if you'd prefer to have the hands resting on the body itself, that's also a very welcome option. So I quite like to, at the beginning of this pose, just to lift each shoulder up and then see if you can lengthen the shoulder and the arm out towards the side a little bit more. So you lift the shoulder and the arm up and then see if that area can spread and take up space a little bit more to the ground. And just pop your eye pillow on top of your eyes. And letting the breath be natural. Closing the eyes here and see if you can bring your attention, any attention that feels quite scattered, to the pit of the throat. So feel the breath as it moves in and out at the back of the throat. And practice elongating your exhale breaths once more. And next time you breathe out, see if you can just relax everything. So relax through the scalp, forehead, the throat. And anytime you feel like your mind feels quite scattered in this pose, again, an invitation to bring the attention back to the pit of the throat. So the pit of the throat now can be the place of return for you. Feel the breath moving in and out there. Take 3 more breaths here. And on your next exhale, option to stay as you are, or we can push into the feet to carefully lift your hips. Use your hands to either slide your bolster forwards or your brick to one side. As you bring the low back down towards the earth, extend the legs forwards in front of you. And we'll come into a very brief shavasana from here. So you can rest the arms either side. You can rest the hands on the body if that feels a little bit more comforting. And as we're in our shavasana, I'd like you to bring to mind or think of something you are ready to release or let go of. That could create more space in your life for peace and possibility. It might be a small thing, perhaps it's a big thing. A thought pattern, a feeling, might be someone you'd like to create more space from. And once you're clear on that thing, just keep this space, keep this thing in your head as you begin to move your body. So gently starting to move the hands, the legs, the head. Beautiful. You might take a sweeter, deeper breath in and out. Keep this thing in your head as you roll to one side and then lift yourself up into a comfortable seated position. We're just going to end with a very brief meditation, and I'm going to introduce a mudra, a hand gesture which you might want to use. So you can choose to take part in the mudra or just resting the hands on top of your knees or your thighs. So we're going to practice Pranidhana mudra. I just need to remember how to pronounce that, which is the gesture of surrender or learning to let go. So we're going to bring the middle finger, so the middle finger and the ring finger to touch the thumb. And so you just got the index finger and the thumbs pointing up. Then we're just going to bring the tips of your index and little finger to touch and have the thumbs pointing up as you rest this mudra on top of your lap. So as you look down, you will notice that there's a space to empty out through the space in between the fingers to release into a symbolic gesture of letting go. So close your eyes or relax your gaze downwards and recalling what it is you are ready to release. And we're going to use the next 3 exhales just to visualize emptying what you wish to let go of through that space in between the fingers. So when you're ready, inhale through the nose. Exhale, releasing this down through the hands down into the earth. Let's take that twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. And slowly beginning to release this mudra. You might bring the palms together in the heart space, maybe the hands resting on top of your heart if you prefer. And trusting that whatever you wish that whatever you have set free has started to loosen its hold. And gently beginning to drop the head down towards your heart, thanking you and your wonderful body for your practice today, and in honor of all the realized beings that have brought the knowledge of yoga to us. Let's take our last breath in through the nose. And exhale, letting that breath go. Gently opening the eyes, release the hands, breathe in and out, and just take in the world, take in the space around you, and realize this new beginning that you've created with your practice. Thank you so much, everyone, for practicing with me. I hope you walk slowly into the rest of your day and your week ahead, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you. I'm just going to end the video.